Hey everybody, it's Chase with AV Pop Culture again, and today I am here with a little bit different kind of video. I am going to talk about my favorite physical media content creators, who I watch, and why. Because, like I said, I don't only make films for a living and create this content, but I am a fan. And I have watched a bunch of different content creators for different reasons. And I wanted to come on here and talk about it, plus my plans for my next movie that maybe we can get this whole community involved in. So pop that tape in. I got you. Let's go do this. All right, so yeah, this is a little bit different video, and one that I wanted to do because I know like people wonder, do you see some of us collaborate on different channels and things like that, and it is awesome. The community has been so welcoming to me. My channel's still only a couple of months old here, and man, everybody's been so great. I feel like I'm making friends already. Sometimes maybe not, because I will say things on here. I'll give my honest opinion, and I'll call out if I feel like any of us are screwing up, or if I'm screwing up, or if we're hurting this thing or whatever. But nothing is ever directed at anyone directly, at least in most cases. And it's all because we all love this crazy thing like physical media collecting and movies, and man, I could not be more passionate about it. So I wanted to make this video because I'm going to be honest with you. This is creating this channel has been a big thing for me because I went from, I mentioned this on another video, I went from, for 15 years of making movies, writing movies, going through the whole pre-production process, casting, raising money, being on set, filming movies, then editing the movies, and then going out to promote them, whether I was a guest at Days of the Dead horror conventions and other film conventions like that. I did a lot of that stuff to promote films, getting the films distributed, going to red carpet premiere events, going to film festivals where my film was showing all across the world. I mean, I had a film show at Grauman's Chinese Theater in a film festival. I had a film show in Idlewild, California, in a film festival, and just in everywhere in between, man. It was so crazy. And to go from all of that to when the pandemic hit, everything just stopped. And it's never really got back going. People are not investing in independent films the same way. They're just not. And the economy is too uncertain, and interest rates are high, and inflation is crazy, and people, it's hard to raise even $50, $75, $100,000 to make a movie. And even when you raise that amount, you have to call in every favor. I had every connection in the world here in Georgia where I could stretch budgets, and that's harder to do now. And of course, I would defer all of my pay. I would never take any money up front for writing, directing, producing, editing, none of that stuff. And so, it was you were able to take $100,000 or $150,000 budget, and really that was more like $1 million budget, because you were able just to put all of that money into hiring actors and getting cool locations and stuff, because you owned your own equipment, your cinema cameras, all that stuff, and you were doing all this work yourself. So you were really betting on yourself big time. And there are some definitely horror stories about that as well. I've just, except for Bring Me a Dream, which is still out with Magnolia Pictures and Indican Pictures and stuff, I'm slowly getting all of my movies back, all of my licensing, because one of the original film distributors for some of my films there you hear it all the time: creative bookkeeping, creative accounting, and movies can make a lot of money and you don't get anything. And that happened to us. And we had to fight to get our movies back. And a company can just easily file a bankruptcy on an LLC arm of a bigger distribution company, and you get nothing. You get nothing. So you can see this movie that everybody worked for deferred pay on, and it was like a $40,000 budget or whatever, and the movie made a $500,000 in sales, and you got nothing. You got nothing. And so that's but still, I went from all of that and constantly doing that and getting bigger and bigger movies with bigger and bigger actors and everything, and actresses and just super talented people, to everything just coming to a screeching halt. And it was like, whoa, the last Bring Me a Dream was like supposed to be the movie that we were doing to get to the next movie. But then the pandemic happened, and but right now I have a couple of different scripts that I would like to make, and this community here gave me an outlet, because I had been missing all of that stuff, and I needed to be a part of a film community again and talk movies and all of that stuff. And that's what this channel has done for me. So when I say that I really appreciate everybody, I really appreciate everybody. Like, I appreciate how fast this channel is growing. I'm almost at 3,000 subscribers in 2 months. That's amazing, because I have another channel, American Vintage Adventures, where for like the past couple of years, me and my family are big theme park. I met my wife at a theme park at Disney World. We're big theme park fans, Disney World and Universal. We can drive down there in about 6.5 hours from Georgia. And I vlogged those. Do a live vlog, film all my escapades at the theme parks. And those are way harder to edit and stuff like that. But that channel is going on 2 years old, and it only has half the subscribers of this one. It's very hard, and people are not as welcoming overall, because there's a finite amount of things to talk about and do. And to be honest, I'm just do that for fun, because we enjoy it, and it's sort of a way to document our vacations and have these family vacations and stuff like that filmed forever. So this community has been so different, so welcoming, and just feels this big part of me. And there are a lot of people that contribute to that. I'm a big fan. And the very first one that I want to talk about that I watch all the time was the very first physical media and like movie discussion, review, and rankings channel that I ever found and that I watched. And that didn't start till earlier this year. And I was just feeling down because, I wanted to make a movie and I was missing that. And the weather was starting to turn hot here in Georgia, and I'm longing for fall. Fall and winter are my favorite times of year. And I wanted something to make me feel like Halloween, to feel like fall, feel like autumn outside. And I searched on YouTube and I found Daniel at the Cobwebs channel. And he had a video, movies, autumnal movies with the autumn feel and atmosphere. And I'm very into atmosphere and feeling and being immersed in films, and just sort of getting an overall feeling and things like that. And Daniel really does. I feel like he's the same way on a lot of that. And so it was really cool. And man, I watched that video, and then his Halloween one, it just went on and on and on. And I love the channel. He introduces me to movies that either I haven't seen in forever that my dad would watch. And I lost my dad suddenly a couple years ago, way too young. And don't smoke. That's my that's my PSA. And it just brings me all that nostalgia and those feels, and I'm just really into vibes and like getting into a mindset with movies and seasons and letting them settle over you. And I feel like Daniel captures the hell out of that. And I started watching him and I said, this is it. This is my outlet. I'm going to do this too. And hopefully I can bring to people those same feelings and my love of movies. I'm probably older than most everyone in this community. So like I remember going to see a lot of these early 80s movies at the theater. I remember when it was just mom and pop video stores and stuff like that. So it is like I have that feeling all over again with this stuff. And really, it's largely thanks to Daniel at the Cobwebs channel, because I found him and that I was like, this is it, man. I need this feeling again. He captured that. It made me have that feeling wash over me. And I was like, man, I love this. I love this. And I immediately made plans to start doing it and start talking about movies. And I was like, well, I can bring another perspective because I've worked with some of these actors and actresses that people are talking about on here. Everybody from Martin Kove and the Karate Kid to Tyler Mane, who played Michael Myers and Sabretooth, to, I helped Christy Swanson try to move here to Georgia. I've worked with Bill Moseley, obviously, House of Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I'm always talking with Carolyn Williams about getting into my next movie and, all that stuff. So like and I've been at these horror conventions where I've got to, be a guest and it just blew my mind to be sitting at a table and people being, coming to buy my movies and take pictures with me and get stuff with my autograph and the other cast and all that kind of stuff. I was so humbled and blown away, and I would look and Bill Moseley would be over there and he's giving me all kinds of stuff. He always gives me something. Martin's the same way, always gives me something whenever I see him. Like there would be nights that Marty would call me and we would talk about a script or Penny Dreadful or Vikings and just chat on the phone. And I would be like, man, like inside of me, the little kid from rural Georgia, watching Karate Kid, late night on my great grandparents' farmhouse, with no air conditioning in the middle of the summer in the early mid 80s. That kid loving Karate Kid is now just talking with Martin Kove on the phone randomly at night about a script. We'd talk about Hell Departed, which is one of my scripts that won a national competition, and you can actually buy a copy of that on Amazon. I think they pay me maybe about 4 cents every time. So if you want one from me, I might make something off of it. It's like pinch yourself. It's so different. And I'm like, maybe I can share all that and the stuff I've learned like in school. Like I studied film and I had a double undergrad. I studied film and I had history and English. And I taught history and I taught film. And then I went into, I left teaching and I went into making movies because I needed to fill that hole. And finding something to fill that was a big thing. And it was Daniel at the Cobwebs channel who I first found and pushed me into that. So appreciate it, Daniel. Now, I have made some other really good friends in this, and one of them is one of my favorite channels to watch, and that's my buddy Brian at the Last Movie Standing. And he is also a filmmaker. Like right now, he is having trouble getting his content up because, man, he's struggling, making that struggling indie film right now, and he's doing a lot of it himself, by himself, and that is crazy hard. And I am super proud of him. And that is so ambitious to do because like, I know how hard it is to be an indie filmmaker. Even if you have people that you pay or that are basically interns donating their time to learn how to make films, man, it is still hard. So trying to take on so much of it by yourself is crazy. Brian does a lot of, like he's really into comedies, like 80s, like raunchy comedies, sex comedies. And he takes things with a chill approach and a filmmaker's eye on stuff. And I mean, it's just like sitting there conversational style, and I really dig it. And me and him were fast friends and text and message and stuff all the time. And just a super cool guy. I love watching his channel. It's very chill, and I mean, just does great content, has great edits, and it's fun to watch. And he's my buddy, so kick ass on that movie, Brian. Now the next one is one like. To be honest, I watched this person before I got into physical media because she also shares my love of theme parks, particularly Universal Studios and particularly Halloween Horror Nights. And I'm talking about Tracy at Nerd Squish. She will talk movies and not so much just necessarily physical media like we do, but she'll talk movies. Particularly, she's real, loves werewolf films. And so like that, I love like, besides like haunted house and creepy, like eerie small town vibe stuff that wash and settles over you, like werewolves are right there for me as a favorite genre. And she's big into werewolves, and she talks those and classic Universal monsters. And she is also in that theme park vlog world. So like I knew about Tracy at Nerd Squish before I started doing this channel, like back when I was doing the other channel. So I enjoy watching her. She has a good vibe. She did a video the other day on like just decorating for Halloween, and that was cool. Helped put me in the mood for that. And she did a video a while back about Renfield and how that could help the dark universe. And like, I mean, she's just fun to watch. And we have the other thing in common with theme parks, so it's super cool. Another one that I started watching regularly, right there after I found Daniel and Brian. And I found Brian commented on one of my videos, and then I went to his and started watching, and I was hooked on Last Movie Standing. And the same thing happened with the original Fuzz. Fuzz over at the original Fuzz, he commented on the very first video I did, said that he subscribed. I think we are of the same mindset on a lot of stuff, and I love you, Fuzz. He might be the only person in this community that's a little bit older than me. So I really love you, Fuzz. So I'm not like at the top end. But I just love to hear him talk. I love his passion for movies. I love the fact that he came to horror later. I'm trying to drag my wife into horror. It's just, you have a different appreciation for horror once you've made horror films. And you see how much friggin' fun they are to make. And it's not just about, if you don't watch them in a way to make yourself disturbed, and you think about what's behind the scenes, I mean, there's nothing better than making horror movies and doing horror movies and stuff. So, I'm always saying like, see, Fuzz, he didn't start watching horror movies until later. You can too. And I love his lists. I love his no bullshit approach on some things, and to just tell it how it is. And he has a different mindset, and I think it's similar to mine in a lot of ways, and I really enjoy it. And Fuzz is a lot of fun. I know he's been having here lately, he's not been able to get content out as much, but I always look forward to whenever he posts a video, and I love watching him. The next one up on my list is Ken at Mid-Level Media. Like, so I found him right there next to after these guys, and I was like, wow, he offers something different. He talks about the latest news, and everybody gives him shit because he hasn't seen a lot of movies. Like, I hadn't watched it yet. And I love the fact that he's just like, hell with it. Yeah, I hadn't watched it, whatever. Because it's hard to watch all these, and he's probably, I think, maybe 7 years younger than me or something right around that. So he didn't maybe grow up. He didn't quite hit at the exact same time, because there's like this big difference between people that were born in like the late 70s to the first year or two of the 80s versus the people who were born more like mid 80s to later 80s. Like what you remember and what you saw is so damn different. I have a really good friend who makes films with me, Edward Boss, and he he's the same way. Like he was born in '88, I believe. So I'm like 9 years older than him or whatever. And dude, it's so like what he remembers. Now he's a big film fan, so he remembers more than most. But like what he remembers and experienced is so different than me. You know, even though there's not really that much time in between us. Uh, so Ken, like he didn't grow up on Monster Squad, so he didn't see it when he was younger, so he doesn't have the same kind of frame of reference for it. I love it because I saw it in the theater when it came out, and but like people will give him shit for that, and I'm like, he just has a different so he just has a different frame of reference, and I enjoy watching his stuff, and he keeps it light. He does some live streams, and that's always fun. You don't necessarily want everybody to have the exact same perspective or the exact same experience for what you do. Then you just have a shit ton of confirmation bias. And that's fun too. Like, but I like to introduce people to new stuff. I like when people find new stuff. I like all that kind of stuff. And he has a hell of a collection. I'm jealous that he gets everything from Arrow and Umbrella. I'm going to come. He lives in Kentucky. I'm in Georgia. I'm going to drive up there and get his stuff if he doesn't watch it fast enough. But I enjoy watching Ken a whole lot. So Mid-Level Media is definitely one of the ones that I watch all the time. The next one I found, and this guy commented on one of my videos, and I found out he was, chatting with Brian and stuff, and that is my pal over at 80s Made Consumer. He has a different take too. I think he's probably in that age range of like maybe 6-7 years younger than me and stuff too. But he has a lot of the same nostalgia and love for movies that I do. We have some similarities, and then we have some different stuff. Like I had never, because of that age difference, like he's really into Leon the Professional. It's one of his favorite movies. And, he was like right around the same age as Natalie Portman. And I was already up and older. And so like that movie didn't hit for me the same way it hit for him. And that's perfectly fine. That's the same thing with Ken and others on stuff. But like because of his enthusiasm, now I'm going to get that movie and watch it. So I enjoy watching his videos. He does some different stuff. He does, like some stuff to help, like if you are having problems with your disc player, different things, remotes. So he offers also a little something different. And he's a super cool guy. I like talking to him and enjoy watching his stuff. I was watching something of his right before I did this morning. And then you have my buddy Frank over at Frank's Media and Reviews. Frank brings a different perspective because he's really new to collecting and new to a lot of these movies that he had left behind for a long time, and like coming in and he's discovering a lot of new stuff. And then he does interviews with people. And so he has a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And he has a very just like, calm style. There's nothing, it's just a very different style. So sometimes you're in the mood for something different. And, but he is one of the nicest guys on the internet. And I enjoy watching Frank's stuff. And he and I have a difference of opinion on Italian horror. And that's fine, man. Like my favorite Italian horror ever is sitting right over here. I just got it. Is Demons. And I am, I have some giallos that I like, but he's like super into that. Like he came in and found it, and it wasn't something, from what I understand, that was like big in his earlier life, and now he's found it and he loves it. So hell yeah, more power to you. You find something that you love, new stuff that you love, brother, that is awesome. And I enjoy watching Frank. Super nice guy. And then another one I found early on too is Garrett over at Born to Be Rad. And Garrett just, I am a 80s kid, man. And I love the 80s. I remember the 80s. Garrett over at Born to Be Rad is huge 80s, 80s, 90s guy, and all of that pop culture stuff. This is AV Pop Culture. So yeah, I think one of the first videos I saw from him was his room tour. And he has an amazing room tour and tons of great memorabilia. And like I even shared it with Marty Cove and his son Jesse Cove because he's a big Karate Kid fan and I am too. So like attached onto that and uh, he is like sometimes I think of this. I don't mean this in a bad way, but like I there's like this meme that goes around that says like, "Oh, you grew up in the '80s," and it has like this room with like all of the bright '80s pop culture neon and like Rubik's cubes and bright colors and all this kind of stuff. And then it says down here, it's like, "No, I grew up in the '80s," and it's like this brown room with wood paneling and this old click 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 TV and like an Atari sitting there with one controller and like an olive green chair and whatever. I'll put it in here if I can find it. uh Garrett reminds me of like the top, like like the stuff that he loves and that he's put together is like a lot of the like that top version of the '80s, like the stuff that everybody remembers all put together, and that's what his room looks like, and it's freaking rad, man. And he started to do a lot more live streams and stuff like that now, and I mean, I enjoy watching his stuff, and the Born to Be Rad. A couple of more. One that I found more recently is well, I mean, I guess I kind of had saw some of his earlier, but I'm talking about Christian at Planet CHH. Um, I kind of kept seeing him pop up with Garrett and stuff like that, and I watch his stuff, and he does. It's almost like a podcast style a lot of the times, and he'll just kind of come on and talk about things that he wants to talk about or things that come across his mind. And I like it. It's kind of like, oh, what's he thinking about today? He's talking about it, and he's younger. He has a different perspective. I was probably a teenager when he was born. So like a lot of the movies that he is talking about, like nostalgically, it's always interesting to me because it's like, man, I saw that at the theater. That movie was like old by the time he got out. By the time he saw it, it was already older, and so he gives a different perspective on it, like somebody that can appreciate that stuff, even though he came after it and appreciate it the same way that some of us who were there do. That's awesome, and so that I love watching that because it's like, man, this is a guy that I was a teenager when he was born. I was there watching these movies that he didn't get to see until they were maybe on VHS or DVD, even maybe. And I'm like, that's super cool that he has that much appreciation for him. So I enjoy watching CHH as well. And one that I found recently commented on several of my videos, like 4K stuff and all that kind of stuff. And this guy he doesn't get videos out as much, but I do enjoy Ken at Ungraduated Media. He has a badass setup. I love hey, I'm a fan. I got this cool stuff. He does amazing unboxing. He collects we're both really into the packaging and the artwork and stuff like that. And it's another chill vibe. And I enjoy watching him when he puts out new content. So, Ungraduated Media. So I got two Kens on here, Ken and Ken. But those are the people that I watch the most. And there's some out there that I definitely don't enjoy watching as much. If I feel like somebody is deliberately misleading the audience out there so that you can click on their affiliate links or whatever, and like that's something I totally respect about Ken. Ken will tell at Mid-Level Media, he will tell you, hey man, I make money off of these links if you buy your stuff by clicking on these links, but hey, if you want to make sure you get a slip cover, go over here and get it, or you might be able to get it cheaper over here, or it's going to come out earlier over here. He will tell you. And that's straight up, man. Like that's straight up. Versus, hey, this movie's not coming out for 2 more months. You can only pre-order it here. And people that don't know any better, hell, the movie might be sold out, or they can't get the slipcover or whatever, or they pay more for it just because you're trying to get them to click your link. Man, that's not cool. So those type of people I don't watch. Or if I feel like somebody's coming with just constant negative or wrong information just to get clicks, I don't need that kind of stuff in my life either. But for the most part, everybody is awesome in this community, and I absolutely love it, and I love being part of the community. And because of that, my final thing here is I would like to eventually, my goal is when I get to 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to try to begin pre-production and the whole arduous task of raising money and starting pre-production on another film. And I got to go at least one more time. You can't have a movie be your last one when you didn't know it was your last one. So I want to go into at least one more, knowing there's a chance it could be the last one that I make. And so I want to ride that pony one more time. And I would love to bring this community with me. So like the people that I just mentioned on here, I would love if I make the movie for them to be involved. Whether it's behind the scenes, doing a fun cameo, just being on set, helping out. And then it'd be something that this physical media community helps create and talk about and push together. And I think that would be so super cool. To bring everybody together to do that. I mean, hopefully it will work. I think I've said this out loud, maybe to Brian and to Frank, but to nobody else. So it's kind of like a news drop here. I think that would be super cool. And there's so many people that love movies. And I think I got a couple different scripts. I got one that's like a sci-fi horror that takes place all in one spot called Diner 27. And then I have a horror anthology, and a horror it's sort of a sequel to Creature Feature in a way, but you don't have to. It's one of those where you don't have to have seen the first one. Kind of like Creepshow and Creepshow 2. You don't have to have seen Creepshow 1 for Creepshow 2 to make sense. And a horror anthology may make the most sense if I'm trying to bring everybody into it to be a part of it in some way, because you film segments and the cast kind of turns over and everything turns over every few days, and it's just they're a shit ton of fun to make. So I like Dark Roads, I think, is probably the best movie that I've ever made. But Creature Feature, the way those monsters look, the amount, like, we had almost no money on Creature Feature. Everybody worked for what's called deferred pay, which means nobody got paid. Unless it was actresses that did nudity, they got paid up front. But nobody else got paid unless the movie makes money. And that includes recouping the cost for making it first. So, I mean, the chance, it's tough to make money. Like, I've never gotten a dime off of it. So, it's one of those things where every dollar that we had went into the makeup. But man, it's such a collaborative effort, and everybody had so much damn fun doing, and I think that would lend itself well to this. So hopefully everybody will be interested, and I get to 10,000 subscribers. The reason I set goals for myself, that's the goals, to get to 10,000 and do that, because I'll know that there'll be a base here, because all that matters when you're trying to raise money, when you're trying to get money from investors, when you're trying to help crowdfund to make the ends meet. When you're trying to get buzz about the movie, to get it into festivals, or to get good distribution deals, or whatever, having a fan base and people to push it, this day and age, man, that matters so much. So we'll get to 10,000, about 7,000 away, get to 10,000, and then we'll see from there, and really try to go after this thing and do a movie. And hopefully I can get everybody in to come and be a little bit a part of it. And that's what I have for you today. I just wanted to talk about this, as I think it's a cool thing, and I know people wonder and stuff like that. And like I said, I don't just do this and stuff, but I'm a fan, and I have a lot of fun with it. And if you've had fun, please like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. You can consider joining the channel here below on YouTube or on my Patreon. The links are down below. For a few dollars, there's a bunch of different levels. You get all different kinds of stuff. I'm about to post some new stuff today. A Star Wars University of Georgia fan film that I made like 11 years ago, or helped make 11 years ago. I helped produce it and film it and stuff like that, because I played football at Georgia, and they gave us the run of Sanford Stadium and the campus and the locker rooms and stuff like that. And we got the 501st in there, Star Wars reenactors and stuff. And we had a fun time. Just I helped some younger football players at the time who wanted to get in film. I helped them make this movie and make it possible. And it's fun. I'm going to throw that on there in the members section. So there's all kinds of stuff that that's on there, and you can join and have a lot of fun with it. And but you don't have to do any of that to hang around here. Just like, subscribe, ring that bell, spread the pop culture word, and be a part of this family. I thank you all so much for being here. And until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. I know.